Do they?
You're good.
Are you lying to me?
You lied to me and said that
I did.
this hat fit right. Huh. I think we're live.
Okay.
Uh,
I don't see anybody, though.
testing. Can you guys hear us? Do you want to just peek your...
My antler's out the door?
Yeah.
Hey, we're good.
All right.
Ashley just gave us the thumbs up.
All right.
We have Ashley in house today.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Maybe we should have Ashley come on.
And yeah, I definitely think so. For the new year, maybe?
Yeah, well, at least like to poke her head in today to prove that she's real.
She is real.
Yeah.
She keeps it real.
Yeah, that's true. So hey everybody, welcome to another holiday edition of our AMA.
Yep.
And like usual, I think we have a handful of questions that people have sent in.
Yep.
Are any of them holiday related, Christmas related?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Carlos insisted I wear this hat, and he wore the antlers.
Right.
Seeing ourselves now on video, I'm not sure if that was the best move, but
I think the antlers make me look 5 pounds heavier. It's not the camera.
it's not the. We're committed now.
Yeah, and you can't take it off.
You
now.
can't. We can't go. You can't go backwards now.
No.
So it is what it is. All right. Want to jump right in and
yeah, like Steve said, we're gonna hit up some questions that we saw on the Facebook group, and then we're gonna go into a little bit of the questions that people had typed in. We're also going to answer the comments. So if you guys are watching us live, feel free to let us know that you're here, where you're from, where you're representing, what's your favorite football team, who's your favorite football player, just whatever you want to do. And we got a little surprise at the very end, so you gotta stick with us.
that promo code.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to say anything.
Oh. Well, they don't know what the promo code is.
It could have been anything, though.
Well, what other kind of surprise are you going to give?
Candy cane?
All right.
Well,
It's not a candy cane.
Well, now we're not going to do it.
All right.
All right. So let's get into it. Do you want to hit the holiday question first?
Yeah, I'm in the mood.
Okay. This is from Ashley.
Our Ashley?
Our Ashley.
Oh, cool.
She wants to know, can you name the 8 reindeer?
Oh my gosh.
Sleepy, Sneezy.
No. Nope, those are the dwarfs. The reindeer are Vixen, Donner, Blitzen, Comet, Rudolph.
I think he was the 9th. He doesn't count as the original 8.
Oh.
Laser, Blazer.
That's not true. You're thinking of the American Gladiators. Laser, Blazer.
Michelle. I can't name them.
I can't.
If you could name the 8 reindeer, throw them in the comments.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a surprise at the very end.
My son's too old. That information has been purged out of my brain, I feel like,
it's
at this
part of
point.
that one song, though, the Rudolph song. So if you know the Rudolph song in the beginning, you can Dasher and Dancer.
Yeah.
And
Comet and Blitzen.
And Blazer and Laser.
And Blazer and Laser and Michelle.
And Michelle.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into these questions. General questions. All right, here we go. This is from Eric. Eric wants to know, can a tenant report something is, quote, not up to code after moving in, assuming it's visible to the naked eye? And Eric wants to throw in there, isn't this the point of the walkthrough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing what they mean by that is tenant moves in, let's say they're within their first couple of weeks,
Right.
and then they point something out and say, hey, this isn't up to code.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the walkthrough should catch that. I imagine it's possible.
It is.
Something breaks maybe or whatever. Who knows?
Like, what would not be to code? What would you think? Like, I mean, I can understand there's a difference between what's not to code and just what is not satisfactory within the dwelling.
Yeah.
So, like...
Well,
what would be code?
That's what I was thinking. If it's a code question, that's tough because I
mean, code is code.
Yeah.
And if the person didn't... I mean, you got to understand that tenants aren't inspectors.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if it's something to do with the code and they know it's code related, I personally would probably step in and say, okay, let me take a look at this, and if that is the case,
Yeah, you have to fix that.
you got to fix it. But
Yeah.
if it's not to code and they didn't like the way the laundries are hooked up with the the hoses or whatever, or the dryers. I know the dryer vents. A lot of places don't like to see the plastic.
Yeah.
Or whatever. They like to see the metal.
Yep.
Something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
at that point, I mean, I don't know. I guess kind of you're playing it by ear on that.
I feel like if it's code, it's code. You have to fix it. If it's a genuine issue,
right?
If the tenant brings it to your attention, it's one of two things, right? It's either going to be a great tenant that treats that property like their own home,
Sure.
right? They're communicating, they're concerned. Could be a great thing.
Yeah.
It could also be a nightmare. You don't want the tenant who's
they're gonna nitpick.
Yeah, who's gonna drive you crazy and tell you like one of the most common complaints that we would get from landlords who didn't have a whole lot, like, if we're doing a tenant reference, and the landlord says, they paid their rent on time and they weren't evicted, and then we get to that last super important question: would you rent to them again?
Right.
And then you sort of see that's where they sort of drift off, and they're like, no. You're like, well, why? They paid their rent on time, and they weren't evicted, and everything else, seemed great. And it's usually the cases where they're like, they drove me insane.
Yeah.
They would call when light bulbs went out. They would, habitually lock their keys in their house, and I'd have to come and open the door. Whatever it is that was just sort of like they were just a pain because they were a lot of maintenance, a lot of work. So it could be a good thing if your tenant's bringing this stuff up to your attention. It's definitely worth checking out, especially if they're new.
Yeah.
Don't discount it or discredit them. Give it the proper attention, and if it's a code issue, you got to fix that.
You got to get it taken care of.
Yeah.
All right, Eric. I hope that answers your question. If you're listening to us live and it's not, just give us a heads up and we can discuss a little bit further. Amy Garcia Walker, hello, Merry Christmas to you. Josh Angaro, happy birthday. Happy holidays. Happy birthday.
Happy holidays from Amy? Oh no, somebody wrote
Amy Garcia.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All
right. Next question. Here you go. I know you like to do plugs for the company here. So a question from Candace wants to know best way to verify income from self-employed tenants. Ooh.
Income verification product.
Oh, there it is.
So before we had this product, it was difficult. You'd have to look at taxes, which anybody who's self-employed knows that taxes are not the best representation of your income.
Right.
And then the next step is bank account information, right? Like print out 90 days worth of bank statements. People don't love doing that. It's super invasive. That's why I love that income verification product.
So how does the income verification product work?
So it's only giving you deposits over the past year.
Okay.
And then it does like a look back. And so it'll say, okay, here's your monthly average. Here's a 90-day look back of what the deposits were. It truncates any other information, so you're not going to see what they're spending their money on. Not.
So would you say this is good for people that are depositing money daily, things like Uber drivers, Grubhub drivers, things like that?
Perfect for that. Perfect, because they're not W-2 employees.
Sure.
You're not looking at a pay stub.
Right.
We're living in this, gig economy, the world of the side hustle, especially now with things being remote. You got people driving, like you said, Uber Eats.
Yep.
So it totally makes sense that there is now a one-size-fits-all solution. So
any of our landlords can go onto our site and they can order the income verification product. Do you know how much it is?
It's $10. It's
$10.
best. It's the best $10 you'll spend because you're not looking at pages and pages of bank statements.
Okay.
You're not asking that applicant, hey, print out a bunch of bank statements and hand them over to me.
But what are you asking the applicant to do?
They've got to go in and they've got to basically like verify their information. So they're going to get an email invite that gets to them, and They respond to the email invite and say like, yeah, you know, I'm applying for an apartment. I'm okay with this landlord looking at my information.
Okay.
And then once they agree to share that, the landlord gets it. Everything is in a secure environment. They're not, you know, this isn't bank information flying all over the place. The landlords can't see bank account numbers. They can't see, you know,
They're just seeing deposits.
they're just seeing the deposit
amounts. Yeah.
Yeah, the history, and then what, you know, what does that,
some summary of it.
yeah, what does that look like over time? So can this person actually afford the rent? And then every landlord should have their rent to income ratio.
Sure.
3 to 1 is usually the standard. You know, so do they meet that threshold?
Gotcha.
Yeah, but for self-employed, awesome. That used to be, we used to have a lot of content on the site about how to verify self-employed income.
Yeah.
And this was before the days of Uber Eats and things like that. It's always been a pain. That has always been a difficult part of a landlord's job, is how do you verify self-employed income specifically.
Sure.
So
what's the completion rate on something like that?
Joe knows. I want to say it's 70%.
I thought he said 72 because I remember this question came up a couple of weeks ago.
I don't want to speak out of pocket. I'm pretty sure it's 70%. So 70%. Yeah. So 7 out of 10 people that you send the request to will fulfill it and will do it. The rest, you know, maybe they have their reasons. Maybe they don't want you to see something.
But that's also an indicator.
A lot of times, I always say you know, sometimes the best screening is, you know, making it. Joe confirmed it is 70%. Sometimes the best screening is just letting the person know, I'm going to be doing this, and verifying your information, and even putting it in a listing ad. You know, we're going to run a background check. Right. Sometimes that's the best screening tool that you have, because it's going to naturally deter some people who say like, oh, they're running a background check. I don't want them to see my 6 evictions over the past 2 years.
Sure.
I'm not going to apply to this place.
Cool.
Doesn't always work that way, but you hope that it does.
Yeah, yeah. All right, moving on to a question from Mary. Mary's from Chicago. So Mary's in the Chicagoland area. Like many areas across the United States, they have been experiencing huge increases in rent amounts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And what she would like to know is how to ask their current tenant to pay these new higher amounts without losing them. And they're good tenants.
Yeah.
So, for example, she says, my current tenants are paying about $1,600 a month.
Okay.
And the rate is about $2,000 to $2,100 a month. I want to keep my good tenants, but I don't want to obviously lose them out on the big rent increase. I mean, if they're a good tenant, you got to kind of weigh this out, I would say.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing an increase, but a significant increase like that, I think that's if you're looking to get rid of somebody, that's the way to do it. But if you're looking to keep somebody, you know, explain them. Listen, you guys are paying X amount of dollars.
Yep.
The typical rate in the area is this. You know, it's $400 or $500 more than what you actually are paying. But I appreciate you know, you up until this point, you know, paying your rent on time, keeping the place neat and clean. I do have to do an increase. Maybe split the difference.
Yeah, I would say come up with be transparent about what the schedule is going to be.
Right.
And say like, listen, I want to keep you around. You're a great tenant. You've been here a while. I'd like to keep you here longer. Probably a good time to ask, do you want to stay longer?
Right.
If they say, yeah, this is my home, I have no plans on leaving. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we've got to get you up to a certain level with the rent. I respect you. I don't want to lose you. So here's the schedule of how we can do it, instead of just dropping this on you either all at once or at a pace that you can't handle.
Sure.
To me, that's worth the extra effort of working and communicating.
Absolutely.
Good tenants are
hard to find.
They're hard to find. They're valuable. So if you're a math nerd and you want to see what this thing looks like mathematically, figure in the cost of a turnover.
Yep.
And potentially more turnovers than just the one if you don't get a long-term tenant.
Sure. And
once you start figuring that in, all of a sudden that increased rent isn't as sexy as it once was.
Sure.
You know? So you might be willing to, you know, tap the brake at least a little bit and say, okay, you know, I don't have to raise it $1,000 this year over, you know, for the year total. Maybe it's 500, maybe it's 600.
Yeah.
And spread that out over 12 months.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, respect a long-term tenant for sure.
Yeah. Sherry asks, is hiring a biohazard company to clean up a suicide inside a house considered damages, and who is responsible for payment, the tenant or the landlord?
Insurance
That's an insurance. I was going to say.
yeah, that could be an insurance.
I mean,
It could also be it could be the tenant if they've got renter's insurance.
so I'm assuming that one of the two tenants committed suicide in the dwelling.
Yep.
I mean, good. I don't know. Good luck trying to get the money from the tenant. That first things they're going to say is, my so and so killed themselves.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And you're going to leave that me as damages? I don't know. I don't think you can code that under damages by the tenant.
I think technically you could. I mean, it's definitely not normal wear and tear. Let's at least admit that.
If you take that to court, I don't think a judge in the country is going to say, well, he did it or she did it. You live with them, you're responsible for it. I don't see that.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
My other thought is you pay it and you deduct it from the security deposit when the time comes. I think you'd get away with that for sure. I think a judge would agree that should be taken out of a security deposit.
But nothing beyond that.
Depends on the rest of the unit. But I'm thinking like, okay, it's tough. You want to handle that one delicately, right?
Sure.
So, you don't want to be going in there, shoving invoices in someone's face
Sure.
a week later. But I would say you want to be transparent as well. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
May not be the popular opinion, but I do think that the tenant's responsible for that.
Yeah.
I do. That's definitely not normal wear and tear. That's definitely, above and beyond, and a specialty cleanup. Obviously, you have to. Yeah, you have to have a company come in to handle that correctly. So, yeah, again, man, that's tough.
Yeah.
Listen, landlording ain't easy. You're gonna come across some of these difficult decisions sometimes that,
Sure.
I would say try to be as human as you can and have a heart as much as you can. You are running a business, and keep that in mind. And if there's an opportunity to handle it in a smart way as a business, then maybe that's what you do. You add it, like I said, calculate it. You worry about that when the security deposit comes up or whatever. But
Right.
yeah, insurance though, that's my first route. Try to as diplomatic as possible. If they have renter's insurance, if you have insurance,
Sure.
That would be my first thought.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that they're not cheap either, depending on the cleanup. But I know that it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Kind of dampen the mood a little.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
I'm not even going to go into question number 5 from Candace again. Let's liven it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So Brittany wants to know, I don't know if this is livening up, but what are some key things to add in leases?
I would say your lease should be property specific.
Okay.
So, I would say if you have 2 different properties in 2 different neighborhoods and 2 different dwelling types, your lease should not be the same lease.
Okay.
Your lease should be tailored to that property specifically. So let's say, for example, property A, there's on-street parking. Mm-hmm. Property B has off-street parking. So your lease might say something along the lines of, okay, off-street parking, here's how many cars you're allowed to park there. I want to know the plate number and the make and the model. And if you get a new vehicle, you got to update me and let me know. So your lease should, speak specifically to the needs of the property. Another one is smoking. If you have a no smoking clause in your lease saying like you can't smoke in the property, mm-hmm. Be specific about where you can smoke. because I've seen that backfire on landlords at times too, where they'll say you can't smoke in your unit, and then the tenants go down into the basement and smoke. That was one that we had pretty recently.
Do you know of any? Have you ever heard of a landlord that's ever said, "Oh, you want to smoke? It's cool."
Yeah, I would
Really?
say. Yeah, I would say the smoking thing. Yeah, I feel like that's sort of not been super recent, but
Like, yeah, if you want to smoke in the apartment, I don't care. Smoke. If you get fire them up, if you got them.
yeah, they're out there. Yeah, there are landlords who are fine with it, and I've seen it before for sure. Even then, even if you have smoking or you allow smoking, you may want to have the lease tailored to that too, and say, okay, if you're going to smoke, all right, you have to paint the walls, or apply new paint, or you can only smoke in this area, or
You can only smoke in the bathroom and blow it up in the vent.
yeah, or
In
you're
high school.
right, yeah, or you're required to carry insurance.
Oh yeah.
Most house fires, are candles, cigarettes, those type of things. So, yeah, but the right answer there is, and she might be looking for, like, what specifically. But again, it's tough to say without knowing the property. The property should dictate what specifically. The one thing that I will say, though, across the board, because hoarding is now recognized as a
Yeah, I know that.
hoarding is now recognized as
illness.
a mental illness, so it's protected by the ADA.
Rex has a question about that.
Oh, do I want to wait, or do I want to wrap my thought up here? Well, let me wrap my thought up because it's specific to the lease agreement.
Yeah. And we'll go right to Rex.
Yeah, you want to have a good housekeeping clause in your lease agreement, which covers you for hoarding, because you can't, as a lot of landlords know now, you can't go to a property and realize, well, this is a hoarder, and I'm gonna evict them based on that.
Right. Fair Housing Act.
Fair Housing Act wants you to help rehabilitate this person and allow them to correct the situation.
Right.
A lot of landlords will take the approach of fire code issues. Like, they'll get the fire department out there. The fire department will say, this is an issue. It's a safety concern. And so now that becomes a violation of the lease. And so you're not removing them because of the hoarding directly. You're removing them because of a fire hazard because of the hoarding. So it's a loop around that gets you around it.
Yeah.
But a good housekeeping addendum will cover you there. Basically saying, the house should be in good order. I think it even mentions how often the landlord's going to check. I think it mentions, having clear pathways. Garbage must be taken out regularly.
Shovel the sidewalk if you're making them do it, stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, then this is a perfect segue into Rex. Rex and Callie.
Are you saying Rex or Rex?
Which one you think?
Like Rex in effect, like REX.
Like Rex Kwon Do.
Yeah. Yes. Like Rex Kwon Do.
That's how I'm saying. That's who it is.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Here we go. He's in California.
Can you read it like him?
He's in California.
Yeah.
How can you enforce the cleaning out of an inside of a rental when occupied by a hoarder for maintenance as well as fire hazards? Forget about it. We just saw that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we were watching Napoleon Dynamite for those out of the loop there.
Yeah. But
Okay.
he also mentioned, remember the Fair Housing Act.
Okay.
So I think he just answered it with having the fire marshal come in, take a look, see what's going on, and slip him a 20 and say, hey, man.
If it's that bad, they're going to know. You don't need to slip them a 20.
But if you think that's going to help you out, I'll slip you a 20.
I'll buy you a coffee and wrap it in a 20.
Yeah. What? So, don't bring the coffee. I got it for you. It's already hot. Mm-hmm. No, you just slip the 20.
Listen, don't break the law.
There's nothing. You can give $20 to whoever. I'll give it to you. You want $20?
Yeah, I do.
I got $20.
Yeah,
what movie's that from?
Yeah, Roadhouse. But
Nice. Good.
yeah, I would say, you want to call the local fire department, have a conversation with them, explain the situation. I promise you, it's not the first time that they've dealt with this situation.
Right. Update the lease now for future tenants that come in, things like that.
Yeah. We do. So we did get a question about, do we have an example of the good housekeeping addendum? We do. Ashley or Josh, if you guys are listening and can throw the housekeeping addendum in the chat here, I believe it's in our form bundle.
Ashley, if you can walk it in the room, that'd be great too. I know everybody that's viewing would like to see if you really exist.
Yeah, but although her walking is not going to help them needing it there.
She could do both.
Okay. All right. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
All right. Walk it in, Ash.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're good. Do we have an example of that? Yeah, we're gonna post it up.
Yeah, we could post it. I think if you search on the RentPrep website, hoarding or housekeeping, probably the keywords there. Boom! Look at that.
Booyah.
There you go. All right. Thanks, Ash. If you're watching this on YouTube and not part of the live event here and don't have access to it, then go to rentprep.com, search the search bar, housekeeping addendum. Housekeeping addendum.
Yeah.
All right.
Debbie Lee.
Oh, Debbie Lee's got a question.
Debbie Lee's question. You want to read it or you want me to read it?
You go ahead, read it.
I feel like that's the only reason why I'm here.
Go ahead, read it then.
All right. So Debbie Lee says, obviously everybody can see that's on. We are in the process of eviction. My tenant is late for payment for 6 months and run away for 2 months.
So abandon the property.
Gotcha. Recently, he suddenly showed up and contacted me that he wanted to resolve it. That's a good thing. However, he even extorted me. Yeah, click that. He even extorted me.
Yep.
I lost my spot.
He even extorted me to get some money for returning the key.
For returning the key. Are they violating law besides eviction? Right now, we have served the summon and waiting for timeout for a tenant to respond. I doubt that they will respond. Is there a way that I can report to the court their malicious behavior? I'm in California and have an attorney to handle the eviction. I mean, I would assume at this point you already changed the lock, so that key is worthless. It's just at this point, principle that this guy had the antlers to do this.
Yeah, I would say too little, too late to resolve it. You've already began the eviction process.
Yeah,
I think
I tell him lock's already changed, buddy.
Yeah, assuming the eviction, you don't want to change the locks before the eviction.
Oh, okay.
That's a lockout. You don't want to do that. But assuming the eviction has gone through, but it sounds to me like it's sort of in a limbo state right now.
Yeah.
My personal advice, I think Debbie,
don't make any side deals.
No,
not if you're this far into the thing. As far as reporting his behavior, I mean, I guess you could say that, but they're gonna say, well, where's your proof? Because then it's all hearsay.
Well, so the good thing is Debbie's got an attorney,
right? So
you don't have to do this alone. You definitely want to reach out to the attorney, hand over any documentation, send any screenshots of texts. Anything at all that you have, because you don't know if you're going to need that later. The attorney will happily hang on to it, and the attorney may even have some advice on, okay, well, maybe there's an order of protection if there was a threat. I don't know what the extortion involves, but doesn't sound...
Probably just trying to make a deal, cut a deal. Listen, I'll give you the keys back, and I'm going to pay you 3 months rent, and you drop the eviction, and we move on.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that.
No.
No, it's like
extortion though is something different. I'm hoping that that's the correct word. Extortion can be like, I seen your social media. I got screenshots of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't give me the keys, or you don't take half the payment, I'm going to show everybody, whatever. And that's extortion. Really, that's trying to. I hope that's not what he's trying to do.
Right. But also, like, once this process starts, ask any dentist, right? Like, you make a deal with somebody, or they owe you money, and you say, hey, I'm going to let you make payments, and
nobody ever follows through.
Nobody follows through. But if they if you let them pay $5 instead of $50, you're probably not going to get $50 next month.
Nope.
So, you know, to me, it's not worth making a deal. It's not worth trying to salvage this. You know, it's been 6 months, 2 months of abandonment. It's for sure. I mean, very likely to happen again or continue to happen.
Yeah.
But it's definitely time to move on.
Yeah.
But the key thing here, and what I like to hear, because it always worries me, landlords who try to do this on their own, especially if you're in California. Oh my gosh, like, get the attorney. It's worth it. Laws change so frequently, especially with COVID right now. Don't try to wing this. Don't try to do it on your own. You know, get the attorney and then lean on that attorney when things like this come up.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope we answered the question, Debbie. If not, let us know. We'll be on for another half an hour or so. So let's get into the Facebook group questions.
Okay.
So this is the part that, you know, we kind of monitor our social media pages. We have our marketing team take a look at stuff, and certain topics that have been getting a lot of traffic, a lot of comments, a lot of replies and things like that. We like to extract those, talk about them a little bit more here. We're not here to answer questions. We're here to kind of just discuss it, and, you know, maybe, you know, obviously with our experience and things like that, you know, we can give good direction.
Okay. I'm curious what it is.
No, there's a lot of them.
Oh, what do you got? Okay.
So Joe says this. He asks everybody in the Facebook group. So a tenant has texted me that she is out of the country and can't get back in. She has furniture in the apartment but forfeits the apartment. Can I go in there and get the place re-rented, or should I follow the formal eviction route? Thanks. Located in Rhode Island.
It sounds like she's cooperating.
Sure.
I mean,
obviously keep a record of all the conversations between the two of you.
yeah, he said she's forfeiting her.
Yeah, she has furniture in the apartment but forfeits the apartment.
Yeah. So I would, you know, does she want?
I think it's just a simple ask.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do with your furniture?
Yeah, I'm going to put it in storage. I'll set it up for you. Or, you know, do you want me to toss it to the curb?
Right.
Or
do they legally have to hold on to it, though, for 30 days?
If it's an abandonment, but she's communicating and forfeiting. So if she says, I don't want the furniture, I can't, you know, then he's not responsible to do anything with it. If
is the furniture nice? If it's nice furniture and it's not beat up, I would probably say something. This is me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, okay, I'll tell you what. And again, this is just me. Don't worry about this rent. I'm going to keep the furniture because it's worth what the rent is. And then when you try to rent it out, you can rent it as furnished. What do you think about that?
Possibly, depending on the furniture. Or
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, or yeah, tell her, hey, listen,
like black leather.
Yeah, listen, throw it up on Facebook Marketplace, and
if you want.
Yeah, when you get somebody who's for sure interested, I'll let them in the apartment. They can come grab the furniture.
Yeah,
you know, it sounds to me like this is there's good communication. It doesn't sound like an abandonment. So
should Joe follow the formal eviction route, or should he?
I don't think it's necessary. If if she's communicating, I would for sure have her put it in writing.
Yeah.
Like, don't just let that be a conversation.
Sure.
You know, say, okay, no problem.
Maybe even type something up formally and say, listen, I'm going to email this to you. I need you to print it out, sign it, scan it, send it back to me. I'm going to hold it on file, and I'm going to hold you to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. All right. No problem. I understand your situation.
Yeah.
I just want to get something in writing.
Yep.
But, yeah, you don't want to... I don't think you need to treat it as an eviction because of the circumstance there.
Right.
That might change along the way, but at least right now, if she's cooperative and she's just like, listen, it might be COVID related, like, hey, you know, we're locked, we can't travel, we're locked in this country, whatever. So, yeah, I would say try to continue to work with her. Don't go the eviction route unless it needs to go that route. If she's
costly.
It's costly and it's potentially just unnecessary.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool. Chris, also from the Landlord page, South Carolina. Chris says, I have a tenant who moved out. There was some damage I needed to repair. They will get a little more than half on their deposit back. They did break the lease early, and I can easily charge them for more if I wanted to be a jerk, but I don't. How, excuse me. How do I go about this property so it's all in writing and legal? TIA.
What's TIA? Thank you in advance.
Too much
Nope.
Too much information.
I think TIA is thanks in advance.
Or that's the person, Tia.
Tia. Yeah, maybe.
I think it
could be Tia.
I think it's too much information.
Too much information.
It was just a typo.
TMI.
Autocorrect.
Yeah.
That's what he meant.
So what's the question is?
The question is, how does he go about this property so that it's all in writing and legal?
Put it in writing. Put it in writing. I remember an attorney telling me one time, and it stuck with me, and I may have even mentioned it on an AMA before. There's very little that you can put in writing and someone agrees to that will not hold up in court. So in other words, as crazy as it might seem, if you put it in writing and it's agreed upon by both parties, it's binding. So outside of a certain, a handful of conditions of, is it illegal? Is it, are they protected in some other way or whatever? But
yeah.
So in this case, if you're willing to work with them, if you want to give them back a part of the deposit, you want to use a security deposit, like a reconciliation form saying, okay, here's the amount you started with, damage line item, damage line item, damage line item, highlighting what the cost is,
right?
Amount to be returned, and then, that way it's official. You get their agreement, they sign it, they understand what they're getting back. You want to make sure you're doing it kind of quick. Some states have different laws about how fast you need to do this after the lease ends. But so does it sound, when he says if he wanted to be a jerk,
he doesn't want to be a jerk.
So he doesn't want to be a jerk and make them pay
because they technically
broke the lease.
Right.
So he's thinking, I could take the entire security deposit,
but I don't want to be a jerk.
He
must like Tia.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can use the security deposit to cover past due rent, lost rent, after everything else is, calculated out of there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily being a jerk. I respect the fact that he's
not going to take him for everything.
Yeah.
That he's technically allowed to.
Right. Yeah.
So that's good, I guess.
Yeah. Document it well. Again, there's a form that you can use. Ashley, if you do us another solid, I'm pretty sure again it's in our form bundle.
Walk it right in.
Yeah. Security deposit.
She's not real. It's just a made up. She doesn't exist.
Security deposit. I keep wanting to say security deposit reconciliation form, but that doesn't roll off the tongue correct. So I don't remember what it's called. If Ashley can find it, or if a screener is listening. I see Chelsea Klein, our screening manager,
What's up, Chelsea?
Is waving to us. Chelsea, if you know what form I'm talking about in the form bundle,
yeah,
can you post it up here?
Cool.
All right.
What's your favorite holiday dessert, Christmas dessert?
That's a good question. I would say, what I just started liking is the peppermint bark.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if I just didn't. I didn't want
this year. It started.
Yeah, like maybe last year. Okay. But I remember trying it, and it had like little slivers of candy cane.
Yeah.
I was like, "What is this?" This was like a brand new thing to me. I had never experienced or tried. It was incredible. I love the little bits of the candy cane that like pop in your mouth. They got a little crunch. It adds a different texture.
Yep. So that's like your go-to this year? Is it peppermint bark?
I don't even know where to get it, to be honest with you. I just know that I've tried it. I liked it. I don't know any other, like when I was a kid, I don't know if you guys had, what were those horrible fruit pies? Fruit
pie?
Yeah, it was like a...
You mean a fruit cake?
Maybe fruitcake. Yeah.
You made it in the bun or the the circular thing?
Yeah.
I never ate any of those.
We used to always have one for Christmas time.
Really?
Yeah, we had like really old people Christmas foods. You know what I mean? Like the old school candies.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah, like the wrapper stuck to the candy.
You eat Good and Plenty's? I saw a lady the other day. I didn't even know they made those anymore. My mother used to eat those Good and Plenty's. Remember, they're purple and white. They're black licorice.
Oh, is it like the Mike and Ike's, the same shape?
Kind of, but smaller. They look actually. I mean, you would probably put these things in a pill jar and say they're penicillin. But I've tried those before. I think my mother used to eat those because we wouldn't, and that was like the only candy that she could eat.
And I think that's a generational thing too, because my mom used to always chew black licorice gum.
Disgusting. I don't know how people. Oh my God, gum!
The gum. There's a specific name for it too.
Blackjack?
Maybe. I feel like there was another name for it. I can't remember.
Violets?
Maybe.
Maybe violets.
Maybe
something like that.
I don't know. But you're right. Like it was stuff that I wouldn't touch.
And then for a Christmas dinner.
Oh man.
For a protein.
Polish sausage.
Do you go ham or do you go
turkey?
Ham. Ham is for Christmas.
Ham, Polish sausage for Christmas.
Turkey's for Thanksgiving.
Turkey, Thanksgiving.
And then what about chicken? 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July. Fried chicken. Because Easter is also...
Easter hams?
Ham.
Eastern ham.
Yeah, and Polish sausage again.
Right. Definitely in the buttered lamb.
Yeah, we're Western New York Polish community, so buttered lambs, Polish sausage, sauerkraut.
Dingus Day.
Dingus Day.
Dingus Day started out here?
Yeah.
All right.
The forms have been posted up here, by the way. It's the security deposit disposition form.
That does roll off the tongue a lot better.
That's better.
Say it again.
Security deposit disposition. What was I saying? Reconciliation?
You were saying fruit pie. You did.
I did.
You're a fruit cake.
I'm a fruit cake. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Facebook group Leslie. So Leslie had asked everybody in the group. 2 potential tenants came in yesterday. They completed the apps, sent the paycheck stubs, and sent them the link for the RentPrep background and credit. One applicant told me she has a previous eviction, but she's making monthly payments. So I searched her through our state's base, and there it is. Wants to know what way does RentPrep do their eviction searches? Would just like to know.
We are using database information.
Okay.
If it's a state that doesn't participate with the database or a county in some cases, we can run those specifically. But they're civil record searches. Every eviction, no matter the state or county, is initially filed as an eviction or as a judgment.
Okay.
Which is in civil court, or civil record, or potentially in civil court. So again, it's so different. You could be in Erie County, which is where Buffalo is, and there's like a crazy court fee that you have to pay just to search. There's no free online search, but you can drive 5 minutes to Niagara County,
right,
and get the information for free. So it changes from county to county, state to state, court to court.
So is there a possibility that somebody could get a report back from any company, any screening company, including RentPrep, not see the eviction, but if they go to their county courthouse, because tenant screening companies go nationwide, and it's they're at the mercy of the courthouse to report that up through the main national database, correct?
Yes, and timing could be an issue too. So let's say somebody has an eviction filed on Tuesday.
Right.
But the court only shares the information on Mondays.
Right.
And you run the background check on Friday.
Yeah.
That eviction is not going to be on there because it hasn't been shared by the court. So there is no bulletproof, guaranteed, everything, no flaw in the system way to do it. But my recommendation is, and anytime that you find something, and sure, it's worth looking. use us as a resource. So if you find something, ask a screener. Hey, I found this. Does it look legit? Is it the right person?
People can call in.
People can call in and talk to a screener and say, hey, I'm looking at this thing online. Just wanted to know, is it reportable? Because again, remember, the screeners here understand what the reporting limitations are, what the rules are. So if
so here's a question.
Yeah.
Because we don't know where Leslie's from.
Yeah, let's say Leslie's from New York. Yeah.
Exactly.
She calls in, the screener might say, hey, Leslie, don't use that. You're not allowed to look at evictions in New York. And Leslie's like, dodged a bullet there. That could have been bad.
But Leslie still could find that information out if she wanted to.
Sure.
We just won't report that. So the screeners know what the laws are, what they can and can't report per state.
Yeah.
And sometimes the reason why an eviction may not show up on a report, aside from what we just discussed, could be it may not be within compliance of your state.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you still can't obtain that information. That means that our screeners have actually done their homework, scrubbed the report because everything's hand compiled. They're all FCRA certified, which is huge.
Yep.
And keeps you, the landlord, in compliance by not reporting it. So
we got a letter the other day from a landlord who was upset that there was a criminal record that we didn't report,
right?
And it was 8 years old, and it was a misdemeanor conviction, which has a reporting limit of 7 years. So again, I would say I think the mistake is not going and looking. If you're a landlord and you want to take the extra step and go and look, do it by all means.
But call us to see if you can use that in the decision.
We're on your team.
Right.
It's not a gotcha moment. It's not an us versus them mentality.
Sure.
We exist to protect and help landlords. So
keep them in compliance.
Yeah. So
this is why we say if you find something, call us first. Because it could be a situation where you're not supposed to be using that information, and if it comes back to you that you use that information in the decision-making process and you didn't allow this person the apartment or the dwelling, well, now you got a whole nother issue on your hand.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind, right?
For sure.
Right. Okay. But they can call at any time, huh? Monday through Friday Eastern time till what, 5 o'clock?
During business hours.
7
p.m. No, sorry, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
They can chat until 7.
Right.
Call in till 5.
But don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Or chat in if you want.
Ask for Steve.
Sure. Listen, if you call in and ask for Steve, if I'm here and you say I'm a landlord in the Facebook community,
ask for Ashley.
I have no problem talking to you. Ask for Ashley. Back in the day, I loved taking every call from landlords. Yep. It was the best way to learn and figure out what was going on. And so I'm a little busy these days, but I still like it. I'll still talk to landlords and clients and as much as I can.
Cool. We got one from Chali, Chali.
Okay.
So I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
I know we had some discrepancies last month.
Yeah.
So Chali asks. She says that, he says, the tenant did not pay utilities and not answer my text message and emails. So we've text messaged, we've emailed this person because this person did not pay the utilities.
Okay.
And they just moved out less than 2 months ago.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm worried next rent post check will stop that he did the first month. I'm worried next rent post check, so obviously postmarked check, I'm assuming, post dated, will stop that he did the first month. After 3 days, I got my first rent. How do I treat them? You treat them with respect.
You put respect on it. I'll be honest, I have zero idea what that question is. I'm going to just assume, okay? So I'm assuming he's... The previous tenant didn't pay rent. He's worried that the new tenant won't be able to get the utilities turned on.
Turn back on, yeah.
It depends on whose name it's in. And again, that might come down to the lease agreement, right? Like if the landlords are putting the utilities in their name.
Their name meaning their name as the landlord or their name as the tenant?
Their name as the landlord.
Okay.
So one of my rental properties, for example, I'm paying the water on. Mm-hmm. If I'm charging the tenant for the water,
okay,
and the tenant doesn't pay,
yep,
and I don't pay that bill, it's in my name. that's going to get shut off, you know. If it's in the tenant's name, which is what you want to try to do as much as possible,
Okay.
then that protects the landlord from having to deal with that. So I don't know if that's what the question.
So if the landlord puts in the lease that the tenant's responsible for the utilities, it's in the lease, and the tenant just stops paying utilities, typically 30, 60 days before they even begin to start saying it's going to be shut off, and these guys moved out.
Yeah.
How does that work for the next person you're trying to rent to? Does that bill then follow that person that left the apartment, and then you will still turn the utilities on for the new individual?
Yeah, it's a new account. Although I think I have heard of some utility companies that will give people an issue with that. So if that's what Charlie is talking about, you know, then the issue might be landlord's got to pay to catch things up and allow it to get turned back on, and then you're chasing that tenant for the utility, which is not great.
No.
It's not a great situation.
Nope. All right, Mona. So Mona asks, how would you handle a tenant moving out who demands to know how much they will get back on their cleaning deposit during the walkthrough after moving out their possessions?
What do you do?
I talked to Tyler about this one. I gave him how I would answer that.
Let's hear. What do you got?
I don't want to say it.
You want me to say and then see if it coincides with what you thought?
Sure.
My thought is politely explain that's not how it works. I do the walkthrough. We got to evaluate everything. You know, if there's any issues, then we might have to bring somebody in. We can't go outside of that process because for obvious reasons. If I agree right now, I'm going to give you back 100%, and then you move all your stuff out, and we find, we move the dresser and find, well, that's where the dog had been peeing for the past year.
Yeah.
Well, you just got scammed. Yeah. So you tell them, legally, I have X amount of days to return the security deposit.
Right.
Depending on your state, it could be 14 days, could be 30 days. Yeah, I would make sure you let the tenant know you understand the law.
Yeah.
So know in your state how long you actually have,
okay.
And that would be part of my answer. I mean,
it's very similar to what I would what I said.
Yeah. What was your answer?
Like what you just said.
Yeah. Okay.
Tyler's one of our screeners here, and I asked him what he would do in a situation. I told him how I'd explain it, so it's pretty much how I did it, Tyler. If you're watching, right? Right.
Tyler's aggressive. I feel like, he might not have the patience to explain that to a landlord.
I know he can't do dips.
Potentially. He rocked a couple. He brought in some dip bars, like workout bars. He rocked a couple.
A couple.
Yeah, not much.
He's in last place right now.
Yeah.
I think he did 4.5.
For his age, he should be doing way more.
Then he's tried, his age too, exactly.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, young man like that. Mm-hmm. He should be doing dips till I'm tired.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember that song, Dip? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip.
Yeah.
Remember that song?
Yep.
You know the dance?
No.
You want to do it? I just got to get behind you, though.
I'm good.
You sure? It's all in the hips.
I'm all set.
Maybe afterwards, instead of the promo code, we do the dip.
Maybe.
All right. Let's get back to Candace. We're going to bring the tone down now.
You want to end on a down?
No, we're going to end on an up.
Okay.
We're getting there. I want to bring him down, and I want to shoot him back up.
All right.
All right?
I'm nervous because wasn't Candace the other one that was the suicide one?
No, that was Sherry.
Oh, okay. All right, well, what's Candace got going on?
If a tenant dies...
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm
right.
for real.
All
Can
right.
you go after his or hers heirs for the rent, at least for the following month? Heirs?
Yeah, so, okay.
This is like medieval times?
All right, so here's how you legally have to do it.
The estate.
You got to go after the estate. So you obtain a judgment,
Mm-hmm.
A lien most likely as well.
Yeah.
You put the lien against the estate. You cannot liquidate the estate or collect death benefits or anything like that until all legal affairs are in order.
Yeah.
It's a long process to go through. So the long answer, the short answer is no.
Just looking for that last month's rent. I don't know.
That's a
security. Just chalk it up, man.
That's a security deposit thing.
Yeah.
Because you can't go after the relatives.
No.
You can in a roundabout way go after the relatives through the estate. However, this is a renter, and the chances that they have an estate are probably somewhat low.
Yeah.
So, that's the issue there too.
Yeah. That's the only way though.
Yeah. If you ever want to know how how nursing homes get paid, funeral homes guarantee payment. Well, not guarantee, but make sure that they're going to get paid as they file liens against the estate. So that way you can't sell property. You can't collect on death benefits usually.
Yeah. I was going to say you can't even collect like at the will.
Yep.
The whole family's there, and then there you are. Huh?
Yeah, but you can't.
What are you here for?
Yeah, but you can't. For
the rent.
Yeah, if your tenant. Yeah, I'm here for the rent. Obviously.
Here for the rent.
Sorry to hear about your brother. Where's the rent?
Where's the rent?
Yeah, you can't.
I'll take the baseball cards.
Yeah, you can't. You can't go to the tenant's, the deceased tenant's brother or sister and say, "Hey, you're sorry to hear about your brother. He owed me some money." I would say you're probably going to be working with them to help get the unit cleared out. Also, again, on RentPrep.com, we have a pretty good resource on what to do if a tenant dies in your property.
It'd be cool if Ashley could throw that up on the in the comments. If she exists.
Yeah, Ash. Katie, our senior screener, is giving us a wave and a shout out. Hey, Katie.
Katie. She beat,
Katie's like within
her and Tyler had a contest. Tyler lost the contest in the first 5 minutes of the game. It was hilarious.
The no talking.
Who would talk first? That it was like that one with. You watched The Office with Jim and Dwight.
Yeah.
And Dwight tried hitting up Jim on doing stuff on company time. So
Jim
had the stopwatch every time he yawned, he'd click.
Yeah.
So these two, I don't know. They go back and forth. It's mainly Tyler though. He's always talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know what Josh just sent. Well, that's the link.
The link to what to do if a tenant dies.
Yeah. Who's Josh?
Shout out to Josh, our new marketing director. Who
is he cool?
Oh, there it is. Okay. I was
there. Jeez.
You scared me, Josh. I was like
that's not Josh, that's Ashley posting that, I think.
Oh. Never mind. Hey.
Thanks, Ash.
Yeah, thanks, Ash.
We got one last question from Sherry.
Let's do it.
So Sherry said, what happens when a, quote, notice of security deposit claim certified letter is mailed to the tenant and the post office loses it? It never gets delivered to the tenant in the timely 30 days. Oof. I am required by Florida statutes to do so.
Yeah. Does she wait, how did she send it? Certified?
Yeah.
So she has
she should have the receipt.
She should have the receipt
showing that it was sent.
Yep. Smart on you.
But if it was signature required,
yeah.
Obviously there was no signature required because the postal office lost it.
Yeah.
The tenant can easily say, I never got anything. I don't know what to tell you.
Sure.
And Florida is not a landlord-friendly state.
No. So hang on to that receipt because that could potentially save you if it ends up going to court or something like that. I think in that case the best thing you could do is communicate and try to portray to the tenant, hey, I've done everything that I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Here's my receipt.
See you in court.
Yeah. I've done everything I'm supposed to. Here's my receipt.
I'd let the judge figure that one out.
Well, but is there even a problem? To me, this didn't seem like there was a problem yet. It was just, hey, this happened. It's not like now the tenant's upset or the tenant's,
Well, the tenant doesn't even know what's going on because they never got anything.
So, yeah, I would say communicate with the tenant, explain to the tenant.
The notice of security deposit claim, is that saying you're keeping the claim?
Well, yeah, it's like the security deposit disposition form. So it's notifying
the tenant that, hey, man, I'm keeping it.
Yeah. Or a piece of it or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a judge's decision because the judge, I mean, you can look at it both ways. You did your due diligence.
Yeah.
It's not your fault that the middleman didn't do their, fulfill their end of the bargain. And the tenant technically didn't get notified either. So it's like nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah, but again, I still say like it's potentially a no issue unless the tenant makes it an issue.
Well, I think the tenant will definitely make an issue after, saying, hey, man, where's Sherry? Where's my money?
Yeah.
And Sherry's like, I'm keeping it.
Well, if I was Sherry, I'd say, like, I sent it. Here's my proof. You didn't get it? That's weird. Must be something to do with the post office. Okay, that's out of our hands. But
I'm the tenant.
But in the meantime,
I didn't sign for anything. Where's my signature?
So the post office must have lost it. I understand this is frustrating. You could see my receipt that I sent this.
But legally, Sherry, in the state of Florida, I'm supposed to have a signature.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make it right. I'm gonna send it to you now. You want me to email it to you also so you can see it before it comes in the mail? I'm still gonna send it in the mail.
I want you to just give it to me right now.
Potentially.
Yeah, why don't you just give me a letter right now?
Maybe. Or are they in person? We're talking.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. Sure. Here you go. Here's the letter.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, like, it may not be a huge issue unless the tenant's saying this is now an issue.
Right.
Like, it's
going to be an issue.
There's no certification police that come out and say, like, you missed the deadline. The tenant has to complain,
right,
make a claim, and now it's an issue. And I think that Sherry's in a pretty good position having that proof and documentation with the certified receipt. Hopefully you hung on to that.
Right.
Always hang on to that.
Always.
Yeah.
Try to keep good records with everything.
Oh,
write down the text messages, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
keep a shoebox, a landlord shoebox.
A landlord shoebox.
Yeah, for those type of things, like odds and ends of, like, a receipt.
It'd be cool if you had like pictures of past apartments that you had that were all beat up from tenants. Put all these in the shoebox, and you could call it the box of sin.
Yeah. Yes.
All your bad tenants. Keep it locked away somewhere. And somebody finds it. It says the box of sin, and you look into it, it's just concrete and all the pipes and all that other crazy stuff you've heard of.
I thought you were gonna say it'd be cool if you keep a box of pictures of all the old tenants. That would be weird.
That's not weird, man. That's creepy. Have you ever done that?
No.
It's okay if you did.
I did it once, but it was my first tenant. Like, hey, it's memorable.
Okay, stand here and smile.
Yeah,
like a mugshot.
And take your picture.
And then where is it now? You know what you should do? Turn into ornaments and put them on your Christmas tree and not tell the wife. Who's that?
Those are our tenants.
That's Cousin Eddie.
That's the reason why we have Christmas this year.
There you go.
You ought to be thankful.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just about it.
All right. Don't forget
yeah.
about your tease of a special prize at the end.
Well, everybody, so we got a request. They don't want the promo code. They want the dip.
Oh. Is it from the same guys who do the Tootsie Roll dance? Was that a thing?
Show me real quick.
I don't know the dance.
You know the dance.
I don't know the dance. And I don't know the dip dance. I'm for sure too old for that.
So when I get behind you, I put my hand up on your hip.
When I dip, you dip.
And we go like this. But you have to go the opposite way, so we're not going together in unison like this.
Yeah.
Because that would be weird, because then you would never see me. You just see antlers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We did think about doing a back-to-back thing.
Like a sleigh.
Like a sleigh.
But I'd have to be in the front.
Yeah.
Because you're in the...
oh, yeah.
Couldn't be the other way around. That would be the whole horse before the carriage type deal.
Right.
Can't do that. Promo code. How about that?
Yes.
Who wants 15% off a new order good till January 3rd, 2022? Raise your hand. Are you doing a dip?
No, I'm just saying if we could get it to work where I'm behind you. Am I too close? Is this invading your space?
A little bit.
It won't work.
That was weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were doing.
There's not enough room.
Yeah.
All right. So promo code
15% off one order till January 3rd, 2022. This is our gift to you guys if you were watching.
January 3rd. It's like a week. In 10 days.
I didn't make this. Ashley did.
We're going to extend it to
if it'd be like when we were in high school, you make the 3 and you just do another 3, it'd be the 8th.
Yeah, no.
And then put a 1 in front of it.
Just put a 1 behind it. January 31st. We can extend.
Oh, snap. Santa's coming.
Yeah.
Santa's coming to town.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. Okay.
Getting your Christmas goose early.
Yeah. I see Ashley throwing papers up in the air right now.
Nah,
She's got to change everything, and Joe's going to lose his mind here.
Probably.
So what's the code?
Well, who's screening somebody during the week of Christmas anyway? And then what? It's New Year's? Now, come on. You got to stretch that out a little bit. Man.
It's not, they're asking, is that, I'm hearing in the background, was that planned? And then I hear, no! That was definitely Ashley. So, the promo code is all one word, all lowercase. New Year 22.
New Year 22.
NEWYEAR, all one word, 22. No spaces, no capitalization.
Yeah. And we're extending it because Ashley's clearly a Grinch and only wanted to give people a week during Christmas.
Yeah.
We'll make it the full month.
Right. We might as well have just done till the 25th of December.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing's only good on Christmas Eve.
This is only good till the end of the day.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah, you got 4 minutes to use this promo code. Hurry up.
Go.
Right.
All right. Well, aside from that,
yeah.
Is that another tenant, Josh Angaro? Is that one of the?
Oh, that's our marketing guy.
I've never heard of this guy before.
Oh, he's good. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy?
Yeah, you like him.
Is he here now?
Yeah.
Have him come in the room.
Josh, if you want to come in, you can come in.
You want to come in? We got like 2 minutes left.
No?
He ain't coming in the room. I know Katie wanted to get on the next show. And Christy. Katie and Christy.
How long is the cord for the camera?
It's not like we can like run through like MTV Cribs.
No, but I'm just wondering if
well, here comes Josh. I don't know. I think that's Josh. I thought he was the maintenance guy.
Oh, there's Josh. I thought he was the maintenance guy.
I thought he was a maintenance guy with
delayed.
He's got work boots on and
Who?
And his and flannels.
You see Katie, our senior screen.
Katie, wave.
You see.
Where's Ashley? Get Ashley real quick. Come on.
Here.
A sliver of the Christmas tree in the office.
The Grinch Ashley.
Where is she?
She's over here sitting at her desk.
Oh boy. Katie waved.
All right.
All right, guys. Well,
we'll do a Rent Prep walkthrough someday.
All right. So we just want to wish all of you guys a happy holiday, safe and happy holiday.
Yeah. Profitable New Year.
Profitable New Year.
Yep.
We're going to be doing our AMA in January after the New Year. Oh, we're also doing an office challenge.
Office workout challenge.
Office workout challenge.
Yep.
So
5 days a week for 30 days.
For 30 days.
Yeah.
And at the end, what are we doing? A flex off?
Sure.
We're doing a flex off.
Flex off.
We're going to do that. Are we going to do that on the AMAs?
I don't think so.
No.
Oh, Chelsea's in, our screening manager, so
Perfect.
She wants in on this.
All right. So stay tuned for that.
We're on the integrity system.
Right. So over the next 6 months, you're going to see us kind of thin out a little.
Or get thick.
I'm not getting thick.
And swole.
I'm going to thin out. It's beach season right around the corner.
I'm putting mass on.
We didn't get any. We haven't gotten any snow really this year, and we're in Buffalo. I know the rest of the country's getting just nailed. We're not even supposed to be getting snow for Christmas.
Oh, really? That's kind of a bummer.
No, it's not. I don't have a snow blower.
Really?
3 years now. That's actually year 4. So I've been kind of lucking out with it, and I kind of got to deal with my neighbor next door. Say, listen, I'll let me use yours, and I'll blow your driveway, and then I do mine, and I just fill it up with gas.
That's a great deal.
You know?
I'd take that.
Absolutely. I get my exercise in.
Yeah.
And then the guy next to me, I'll do his, but charge him $10 and not tell the other guy.
So you're making money off of it?
I'm making money off of it. It's great.
It's genius.
I'm using Mike's snowblower.
It's entrepreneurial.
To do Mr. John's and mine.
I think that's a sign of the times that...
hard times?
No.
Oh, okay.
That you have a relationship with your neighbors.
Yeah.
So I moved into a new neighborhood a few years ago, and immediately I get along with the guy to the right, the guy to the left. the guy that writes an old school Vietnam vet. The guy to the other guy's an entrepreneur, and so I like both these guys.
Yeah.
And in the course of talking to these guys over a year, all of a sudden I come to realize these two guys never talked to each other.
Really?
Yeah. And they almost thought it was weird that I had come in and like introduced myself and I'm talking to these guys.
Yeah.
That's strange to me, right?
I talk to all my neighbors.
Yeah. It seems
I call them the Fast Five. They're not fast, so I'm being extremely sarcastic.
Yeah.
I'm like one of the youngest in the neighborhood, and they're all they bought their houses. They built the house right in the neighborhood, so they broke ground and all that. So these people are 80s actually, high 70s and 80s. But I call them the Fast Five.
They're proud.
3 across the street and 1 on each side.
Yeah.
But then they asked me, can you help me out with the groceries? I said, yeah,
sure.
with the groceries and things like that. So it's nice.
I'll tell you what.
They watch my house
I was
constantly.
just going to say, you go on vacation, your house is being watched.
Yeah.
You know that you ever need anything,
Mm-hmm.
you know who to call.
I've actually looked out my window sometimes on the weekends with my coffee. I kind of open the curtains and I kind of hold it, and I'll see all the neighbors doing the exact same thing, and I do the old cheers, and they do the cheers and they walk back, and I don't know, I think they're embarrassed that they're looking at my house and I caught them looking, but now I'm looking at their house. So
Just make sure you got pants on.
I do it in my robe.
All right. Make sure the robe's closed. I lived in a neighborhood when I was a kid where there was also a guy probably about our age now that I'm thinking about it. As a kid that seemed super old, but
29, 30.
Yeah, right.
Why do you always do that, man?
You're not 29.
30, I said.
Yeah.
29, 30. I said 29, 30.
So yeah, he was known as like the weird naked guy. Nowadays you'd get arrested immediately. Back then,
every neighborhood had one.
you learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
My mom told me
Just stay away from the house.
stay away from that guy.
Don't trick or treat.
You know what to expect.
Sure.
So if you go over there, it's your fault, you know.
Yeah.
That's how.
That's old school. I like that.
That's old school, right? It's a lot of landlords would like that too. My cousin was asking me. She's hosting Christmas this year, and she was having like some people that she didn't know really well, and she said, "Do you have a clause or anything that if somebody slips in my driveway, they're not going to sue me?" And I said, "Yeah, it's called the
homeowners."
Yeah, I said it's the you should suffer the consequences of your own stupidity clause. Like,
right.
That's how things used to be. Like you make a mistake, you get hurt or something.
You learn from it. Well, now you know. That's what I used to get all the time.
Yeah, well, now you know.
Yeah.
Don't step there.
You broke your hand.
Yeah.
What were we doing? I got into a fight.
Now you know what black ice looks like.
Now you know how to punch.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's just going to take you 6 weeks now.
Yeah, lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Move on. All right, guys. Well, I think that wraps up our show. Again, have safe holidays, happy holidays. Turn it up. Just use Uber. And if you have any Uber drivers.
Does turn up mean get drunk? Like party?
I heard Tyler say it.
He gets turned up? Like, say it in the way that he said it.
Hey, man, I'm getting turned up here.
Oh. Then that's definitely what it means.
I think so.
Yeah.
So he's not even of age, legal age yet. He can't even drink. Telling everybody he's 24.
Yeah.
You're a $1.10.
Yeah. I've seen it.
20 years old, $1.10.
Yeah. I've seen his fake ID. Looks like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're out of here.
All right.
We'll see you after the new year.